What's up, everybody? J-Man Espresso, or Jeff, back with another video for you. And today we got another video in the Battlefield 3 training series. We're going to be covering the M249 Saw from the Medic class. We got gameplay from two different games here. Both of them are Squad Deathmatch, and one of them is on Isla Inocentes, and another one is on my personal favorite, or becoming my personal favorite for Squad Deathmatch, Oasis. So let's get into it here. So the M249 Saw is the second weapon that you unlock. Well, the second weapon in the Medic class, but it's the first one that you unlock right after the PKM, and it's definitely much different from the PKM. That's for sure. So this weapon is quite popular for me from Call of Duty 4. It's a popular weapon in the campaign from that, and as you guys know, Call of Duty 4, probably one of the most popular shooters ever, one of my all-time favorites. And also, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it is a highly used weapon in the U.S. military. It's like the workhorse. Might be being phased out for something new, but I do know that it is a well-used weapon in the U.S. military. So you get 200 rounds when you spawn, and you get another 200 in reserve. And the fire rate's pretty high, but those 200 rounds, that 200 round clip is very handy to have, and one of the reasons why this is, well, a great weapon, to be honest with you. So first, let's talk about the recoil. The recoil on this weapon is quite erratic, I find. When you fire in short bursts, or for the beginning, like when you just pull the trigger, the recoil is quite violent. It bounces straight up and down, which usually isn't too hard to deal with, just a straight up and down bounce, but it moves quite a lot. Now you'd expect that for a large machine gun. It does obviously going to have more recoil. It's got a larger round. It's firing a lot faster than, say, an assault rifle or a submachine gun. But just note that the recoil is quite violent to begin with. But there's ways that you can deal with that. So when you're going to fire in a short burst, just as if you were going to fire an assault rifle, just very quick bursts, I find that to be the hardest way to use this weapon. I don't see too many people using the weapon this way. I think that they might agree with me there, that in short bursts the recoil is just really unmanageable, and aside for close quarters, you lose too much accuracy. And since in close quarters, you might as well just hold down the trigger and just spray them. And the reason why I'll get to that, there's really no reason to do such short bursts. Now on the longer bursts, it actually is quite manageable because the recoil settles out, and being a large machine gun, the characteristics of the large machine gun in this game, on full auto fire, they're quite accurate. They actually, like the assault rifles, get less accurate on full auto. The machine guns kind of settle into a groove and a rhythm and get a bit more accurate. So on a longer burst, I think that's the best way to use this, because I find that on full auto, while the accuracy is there, since there is a bit of recoil, and since the saw has that big handle on the right side up in your face when you have the sights pulled up, I find that on full auto fire, it's actually kind of hard to to see exactly where your target is. I actually feel like, a lot of times they'll move to the left or right, and I won't notice it because the gun's right in my face. So I definitely find that a longer controlled burst is the way to go for this weapon. Now, right, for full auto I said that. Okay, now the reason why I suggest that longer controlled burst, obviously, number one is for, to manage the recoil, as I just said, but also to conserve your ammo. Now you might be thinking, well, you get 200 rounds in the clip, and you get another 200 rounds after that. What kind of ammo conservation do you need to do? Well, you do have a point there. You get 400 rounds, you get 200 rounds in the clip. But here's the thing, you got to remember, you're not running the assault kit. You don't have unlimited ammo. All right, so you have to rely on, your team and your squad to drop ammo for you. And while ideally they're dropping ammo for you when you need it, there's not always an assault guy around for him to drop it for you. So just be aware that it is easy to waste ammunition unnecessarily with the large machine guns. Not just the saw, with any of the large machine guns. Now, the actual bullets that hit your target to drop, I'm not sure the exact number. I'm not doing the crazy exact statistics, but I believe it's probably 4 or 5 to drop your opponent. So you'll probably be dropping your opponent in about 15 to 20 rounds, given moving around during the engagement. So just be careful that you're not using unnecessary ammunition when you get into the engagements, which is why I suggest the controlled but slightly longer bursts. I find that on full auto it's just too easy to waste ammunition, and really the only time I use full auto is when I'm going to spray with the weapon, and that's going to be for a close-up engagement. The large machine guns are a bit heavier to bring up, to bring the sights up before you can start firing, so I find that for real close quarters it works just fine to just spray. They put out a lot of power real quick, and spraying isn't the best way to play, but in this situation it seems to work just fine. What like I kind of do right there, when you're in those situations, you can spray. Just keep your crosshairs on the target and maybe try and circle strafe them a little bit. That's pretty much your best bet for the close quarters, since you have such a big weapon to bring up. So my preferred optics for this weapon, you'll see that I ran all 3 in this video. I ran the ACOG scope, or the 4-power scope, the red dot, and the iron sights, so you guys can kind of get an idea of all the different sights. I prefer either the ACOG scope slash 4-power scope or the iron sights. I find that the red dot sight, I don't know why, I'm just not crazy about it for this weapon. I find that it doesn't help me anymore to have the red dot on as opposed to the iron sights. I kind of like the iron sights on this one for some reason. Maybe because that point is so skinny. It just feels accurate to me. And a lot of times I'll use the ACOG scope on this. I think it looks pretty cool having a big scope like that on a weapon like this. I think it looks out of place a little bit, and I find it quite helpful because I like that red arrow on the ACOG scope, and I just feel like it fits the weapon, and it really allows this weapon to be, these weapons do have good range. You want to be controlling your engagements to close if you can't be avoided for like squad deathmatch. But your ideal engagement for the medic is like a mid-range engagement where the recoil is going to be manageable, but you can still hit your targets and still drop them efficiently. But running the ACOG scope allows you to get into some of the longer range engagements that might be better suited for an assault rifle. Running the ACOG scope makes it a little bit easier to keep on target. And remember, if you're using a controlled burst, like a longer, not just a real quick burst, if you use a slightly longer controlled burst fire, it shouldn't be too hard to keep on your target and drop them, pretty efficiently. So I do prefer, if I'm going to use an optic, to use the 4-power scope. And as far as specializations for this weapon go, this is the medic class, so it really depends on if you're playing an objective-based game and you're going to need to play the medic role, or if you are playing squad deathmatch, you need to worry about kills. If you're not going to run an optic, then I'll suggest you can, the lightweight kit is good, so that you can move around quick, because the medic is, you're carrying a lot of gear, so the medic does run kind of slow, plus with that bigger weapon. So the lightweight kit's good for squad deathmatch. Or the extra grenades. It really depends on your playstyle. If you like to use grenades, then, get an extra grenade so you don't have to worry about ammo boxes providing them for you. And then for objective gameplay, I might run the one of the medic kits. I forget which one is on which, but one of them heals faster and one of them has a longer range. For objective based play where you're going to be having to play the medic role a bit more, that's probably a better bet. And then for the second specialization, if you have magnum ammo unlocked, which you might not when you get to the saw because it's early on, if you have magnum ammo unlocked, that's usually your best bet, because pretty much everyone runs magnum ammo, so not running it puts you at a bit of a disadvantage. But it's not so bad with like stopping power in Call of Duty, where if you don't run it, that you're just not going to drop your opponents. So if you have it unlocked, I suggest running it. But if not, you can run just like for the assault rifle, they have in every class, they have that it steadies your aim, like the steady aim perk from Call of Duty. For the medic kit, it gives you a heavier barrel, and it gives you added accuracy at all ranges. I find that it helps the most for close range engagements, that if you're going to just just spray and pray, then it works the best for those type of engagements. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my synopsis of the M249 Saw. Hope you guys liked the video. If you did, make sure to leave a comment below and rate the video. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. All right, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. Take care.